Ladies and gentlemen, this is Krishna Mukherjee from ETH, welcoming you all to the Economic Times live webinar on enterprise collaboration in digital era. So friends, enterprise collaboration is taking off in a big way, whether internally or externally. It has become imperative today to talk about enterprise collaboration with the changing business needs and to stay relevant. A collaborative enterprise is a business that combines the knowledge and capabilities of diverse workers and stakeholders, unites them in a common purpose and support structure. This approach fosters innovation, efficiency, and scalability. With a collaborative model, companies are producing higher margins on knowledge-intensive work. Not only this, collaboration has helped in improved productivity, relocation cost saving, installation saving, managed services cost saving, and in total cost savings and benefits. In fact, friends, I have some interesting figures to share with you. 94% of businesses say that video collaboration increases productivity. 87% say video collaboration accelerates decision making, and 87% of youngsters prefer to work for a company that is video enabled rather than one that goes without. Before I get into this interesting conversation, request you all to be present till the end of this webinar, tweet as much as possible, answer polls and feedback to be eligible for some exciting gift vouchers, and also visit webinar website for detailed terms and conditions. And also let me announce the winners of our last webinar. Well, the lucky winners are Mr. Santosh Mohile, Head IT, IndusInd Bank, Mr. Venkatesh Kagde, Head IT, VMC Bank, Mr. Rohit Khashru, CISO India Bulls. Congratulations to the winners. Soon our partner Logitech will be getting in touch with you to hand over your respective gifts. Thank you so much and congratulations once again. So coming back to our theme today, enterprise collaboration in digital era. And we have very interesting panel for this interesting conversation, interesting plus exciting. So we have got Mr. VK Chawla, Vice President and Group Head IT Hinware, Srinivas Rao, CIO Cavincare, Sanjeev Kumar Jain, Group CIO Minda Management Services, Amit Ghodekar, VP IT and CISO, Motilal Oswal Financial Services, Lopamudra Basu, Global Director IT Risk, Oswin Financial, and Mr. Lee Berg, AP Marketing Head Video Collaboration Group at Logitech. During the panel discussion, the audience will be in mute. If you have any question, you can ask via chat or raise your hand at the end of the Q&A session. So let me just get started with Mr. Rao. Mr. Rao, can you hear me? If you can just unmute yourself. Mr. Rao? Mr. Rao, can you hear me out?
Hello?
Yeah, Mr. Rao, can you hear me out?
Hello? Srini here?
Mr. Rao, can you hear me? We can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So we are getting started with this question with you, first of all. The industry you deal with, I just wanted to understand from you that how do you look at enterprise collaboration? Or is it easy to do away with enterprise collaboration in your industry? if you can just get started and help ourselves to understand that how enterprise collaboration helps in your industry, or is it very easy to do away with enterprise collaboration in your kind of industry? You're from Kevin here. Let me just repeat that once again. So, Mr. Rao, we are just waiting to hear from you.
Yeah, fine. Uh, in our industry, especially in FMCG, it's very important to have enterprise collaboration. It's very much required because the amount of the people we have right from sales, marketing, finance, HR, and a lot of people in the market going around the country and international as well. So without an enterprise collaboration, it's very difficult to coordinate things and share information on the fly. So we are investing a lot of technologies in to build up this enterprise collaboration now, because normally if you don't have this enterprise collaboration, if somebody I have to talk to a sales guy in US or in my Dubai or even in sitting in Delhi, I need to either reach through WhatsApp some video, and I don't know whether it's there or not. I need to call him over phone. So it's a big pain. So with the enterprise collaboration, I have the status, and I can even schedule things. I can meet multiple people at the same time across globe in a single shot. It saves us a lot of time and money, and also you have the information sharing within the enterprise. And the best thing is we are it's completely secured.
That's true. And we have seen enterprise collaboration evolving. So, like in the FMCG industry, how do you see that the enterprise collaboration has gained momentum? And with the changing times, how are you adopting or creating a business culture which embraces a collaboration atmosphere? If you can
Yeah,
just throw
yeah.
some light on
So
that.
yeah, point taken. So here in as I was telling now in FMCG, I have a lot of, for example, the critical one would be of a Salesforce team who are in the market always. Now, when they go to various locations like modern say institutional sales or modern trade or even the distributor points or retail points, they need to even quickly give the communication back on in case of is there any damaged products or is there any particular scheme something not coming, is the product damaged or the price is not coming properly, whatever. So they need to communicate quickly back to the backend team. It could be finance team, it could be SAP team, it could be any other teams. So we are using this enterprise collaboration tools with completely automated to each other, where they share the information. For example, now they say my product is a particular damage. Instead, earlier they used to use WhatsApp and all that. Now we are moving away from WhatsApp to kind of internal enterprise collaboration tools. And now we are also linking to automatic IVRs. We are also linking to automatic identification of the person who logs into the app. We are also linking to automatic identification of the images. In case he posts some image, automatically it will be reading, and then a ticket will be raised internally using the collaboration platform. So for him, it's a lot easier to raise tickets, communicate with others, share information, and talk. Like say something, there's a scheme not flowing, he immediately connects to a person over his app in the mobile within the enterprise and say, sir, this is a problem, can you fix it?
That's right. So, Mr. Rao, you mentioned many things about the internal structure, that how you're using it and how you're doing it. That's really great. Let me just reach out to um, Mr. Jan. And Mr. Jan, if you can just help me understand this, that how difficult it is to, align your business with collaboration in place. Is it difficult, or is it becoming a very easy journey these days to talk about, or to get into that enterprise collaboration mode? Mr. Jan?
Yeah, so good afternoon, everybody. So I would just like to say that now the enterprise collaboration has become like a commodity for us. And we are spread out across the globe. And as Mr. Rao was telling, that it has become so easy to really get in touch with anybody into the organization. Same way in our manufacturing organization, people used to travel a lot for any meetings and all other reviews, etc. So the things have now changed. With the things, people are using the collaboration tools like video conferencing. They are using the instant chat messages. They are using the secure channels of all the things available through the soft video conferencing options, and the secure channels which are available into the market. And it has really changed the life for all the people in the organization. Previously, they were wasting a lot of time in traveling. So now people are getting into the things, and they are requesting more and more to be put into the things. Previously, we went for one setup in each of the organization. Now people are asking for more setups to be put in because they are overbooked now for the sessions to be happening. So we are conducting the things, we are conducting trainings and other things onto these particular setups. So I think so it is becoming a demanding thing from everybody in the organization and across the globe. Video conferencing has become very cheaper solution because previously people were talking about a setup to be put into the place, but that scenario has changed and now it is a lot of options, cheaper options are available with high quality definition videos available over there. So I think so that it has become a very thing which everybody is expecting to be there as a ad hoc feature available to the IT facilities now.
So, Mr. Jan, if you can just help me understand this, that in a manufacturing setup like yours, how are you, keeping pace with the changing time? Because you mentioned that how in the manufacturing industry collaboration has helped, but at the same time, technology is changing every day. And I believe that when it comes to automobiles and all that, then there is a change always, latest technologies and all that. So what exactly you are doing to be on the toes always so that in enterprise collaboration also you bring in or deploy the latest technology. It should not be outdated. So any steps on that front, like as a CIO of Minda, how are you looking forward to some latest technologies?
Okay, I'll take this thing that like previously the job of a CIO in any manufacturing organization was to just keep the lights open. Now the things are not like that. The IT role in manufacturing organizations is changing a lot. Actually, now the people are expecting the IT to really deliver more onto the collaborative things. Like today, all my customers they talk about the collaboration to start from the day one when they manufacture a product. Before it is being launched into the market, they really want to collaborate that how my product will fit into their vehicle, how the designing part will have. They do a lot of simulations of their our product with their product. So we have to be in pace with the other automobile OEM manufacturers who are using the latest technologies today into the world. We have all the collaboration tools right from the design manufacturing part till the ERPs to the content management. We have for all our chatting processes. We have about our video conferencing facilities. We talk about the messaging facilities. So all those things are now being put onto a place where it is the latest things what we talk about. Today we have a near to a real presence setup of video conferencing with our organization. So people are really want that they should be able to look into the eyes of the other person sitting on the other side of it. So they are able to feel the feelings also. So that is what exactly the manufacturing organizations are going through a terminal change into the technology. So they are the early adopters now of the technology. Previously it used to be that okay, manufacturing was keeping them at a last stage of technology, but today the things have changed. I think so. Manufacturing is adopting the technology in a much faster way to get the competition edge over competition into a better way.
That's true. Like technology, like everybody is keeping an eye on his or her competitor, like what latest deployments they are doing. That's true. And with this, I have got some interesting figures to share with you. 87% of youngsters prefer to work for a company that is video enabled rather than one that goes without. Moreover, 84% rely on meetings with videos for at least one out of every four interactions. So, can I just ask Mr. Amit Goregar of Motilal Oswal that how do you see this overall figure? Like they are talking about video, like one of the studies, they are saying that 87% of youngsters prefer to work for a company that is video enabled rather than one that goes without. So, any steps are you taking to ensure that how your company is adopting to that?
Yeah, these
Amit,
fig yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So these figures are really very encouraging figures for all the IT fraternity probably, and video has made a big impact on our lives over the period of time. Uh, Over in Motilal Oswal, we have a research team which is explicitly working on various new technological research which happens in the industry, and we try to adopt as much as new technologies which can bring value to the organization as well as which can create a different level of satisfaction among our all stakeholders. So when you are talking about video, video has played a very vital role in our overall journey of transformation, digital transformation. So I can start from our Salesforce automation stuff, which we actually taken 2 years back. So we are the organization which is the first company which is specifically have worked a lot on the digital customer journey, specifically about account opening of the customers through completely eKYC process. So we have enabled our Salesforce with latest devices, digital devices like Iris tablets and all those things, which is having on having a complete video features enabled in the devices itself, from which the Salesforce can actually talk with our regional heads or regional managers for any query the customer is having or any requirement the customer is having. So this is the one of the step which I am talking about for the Salesforce automation. But apart from that, we have taken a lot of steps right from employee engagement till various steps which can actually enable us for customer transformation using video. So there are a lot of things, as you mentioned about the data, about the new generation, about video as a primary tool, which they are actually looking out for, and we are also observing the same in our industry, because in customer interaction, customers are also preferring to have interaction on a video mode rather than on a chat or on an email. So we are also looking out for an opportunity wherein we can enable videos in our chatbots or any kind of a tool wherein the customer can directly engage with our customer servicing agents or any of the salesperson directly on a video kind of a stuff. So this is something which is going to take next level of journey actually for digital transformation. We are working very closely on that particular part.
Thank you. So you mentioned
Krishna,
about the
do you mind if I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Yeah, please. Please go
Sorry
ahead.
to interrupt. It was for Mr. Jain and for Amit. You just talked about the adoption. I was just curious in that transformation from before video to now. It seems very commonplace within each of your structures, and I was just wondering if that transformation was overnight, or if there was any lag process of becoming more familiar with the system, and just talk about that transition, if you would. I'd be really interested in learning more about that, because I think a lot of companies go through that, right? They know they need to adopt to the technologies out there, but every company handles it differently. So I'd be interested in how that took place.
So let me take it forward. That our organization was spreading across the globe actually. So what we started, that we were a lot of time our teams were traveling, and a lot of time was being wasted in the travel or the senior executives things, and they were not being able to there into the operation teams, and the operation teams were facing issues since the senior team was not able to do the decision making, was making very difficult. So the organization decided something around 4 years back to really look for a solution which is near to real presence, so that people are able to really collaborate and put in more time into the things, because the time zones were different when we talk about into geographically spread out of organization. So I think so we took the decision nearly 4 years back to go for the collaborative tool of video conferencing. Since the bandwidth these days is quite cheaper and the high quality bandwidth is available with the high definition videos availability. So I think so that was some 4 or 5 years back. The organization started looking into this facility. We were using software-based WebEx, etc. prior to that, but the quality of the videos were not that good, and the management was looking for a solution where they can even have a eye contact sort of thing when talking to the teams. So that is where we decided and invested into this particular part.
Lee, you got your answer?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So, Lee, my question next comes to you only. As you have seen, you have observed that how companies like Motilal, like Mr. Amit mentioned about this, that they are resorting to the next wave of digital transformation. So, being a technology enabler, what all are you ensuring that enterprise collaboration should happen in a smooth manner? So, if you can just give me some hints about that how are you ensuring a smooth functioning of enterprise collaboration being a technology enabler? Lee, this is for
Indeed.
you. Yeah.
Sure, that's a great question, and it was a great segue from the previous discussions from earlier. I think the idea is yes, it's using video is very commonplace now in personal collaboration, if you think about that, in personal usage. And people want that familiarity, that ease of use when they're at their homes, in their apartments, traveling abroad, when they're talking with family, friends, even coworkers. They want that same experience or that similar feeling, that ease of use going into a meeting room, right? There's nothing worse than when you show up into a meeting room, you've got that big presentation to a boss, to a client, you want to jump in, and all of a sudden there's a 5-10 minute delay. On average, globally, I think we did an analysis that there's an 8 minute delay typically on previous traditional video conferencing meetings, just trying to get the hardware or even software to work. That's a huge distraction, and so you've got people missing out on that ease of use and that functionality. So Logitech found not only this opportunity, but also the great collaboration efforts like you talked about earlier, Mr. Jain, about the bandwidth improving, about the open platform, the openness to the cloud, where with Logitech being able to have USB plug and play peripherals and equip all meeting room spaces. That's been the other challenge. When you think of traditional video conferencing, a lot of times people think of that old, expensive hardware where you can only outfit one or maybe two large boardrooms. And what's interesting is typically those rooms are the least used rooms of all the conference rooms and spaces available in the office. And so these small huddle rooms is where there's a significant opportunity to engage and have the right cloud video enabled rooms with the right hardware that's easy to use and affordably priced for literally everyone and scaled and being able to be mass deployed globally. So what we've done, like I said, with Logitech, and we'll talk about it later in the presentation, is we've enabled this open platform to the cloud through easy to use USB plug and play peripherals that we have great quality video, great quality audio for literally anyone all around the world where there's sufficient bandwidth, of course.
That's great to know that how you're resorting to that. Well, I will come back to you on the latest technologies, what exactly you are doing when it comes to artificial intelligence. But before that, I have some gray areas. Some gray areas in the sense like technology has its pros and cons. With enterprise collaboration, we have gray areas such as bandwidth, audio latency, and let me just ask this to Lopa. Lopa, are you there? Can you just hear me out? Lopa?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Lopa. So this is like with the video conferencing, we have certain issues like bandwidth, audio latency, etc. So and of course security is a major roadblock also. So if you can just help me understand that how to how to get rid of this roadblocks.
Okay. Before I start, a small disclaimer. The view I'm going to express here is completely my own view. Nowhere related to Ocwin, neither Ocwin is going to support any of those views. So when it is coming to roadblock or related to security, I would not think that could be a major problem. The reason is generally security is not taken care one the time we are onboarding this kind of tool. But when it is coming to the collaborative platform, use of collaborative platform, most of the critical discussion today's world we are conducting over those platform. Some cases, if this is not properly protected, could be a huge source of leakage of critical data. Considering that if security is taken care at the beginning and this device is taken as a critical IT asset of the organization and not treated as a cattle device which is going to help us, but you know it's like a difference between cattle and pet. Always our servers and the perimeter devices, we actually extend a care towards them. It looks like our pet. Well, it is coming to a collaborative tool or printer. They can be a very good source of data leakage, but we actually treat them as a kettle devices. because we always believe that there is no data stored inside those devices, but we need to look at that they have a huge storage space, they have a RAM, there are lots of recording, and there are lots of data floating around and over the vein of the collaborative platform. If we take care of this all security measures, they are patched in timely fashion. Vulnerabilities are discovered time to time. The way we are handling the endpoint as well as server and the network devices, then I don't think that would be a roadblocker, but they need to be integrated as part of our regular security program, and risks has to be identified in a proactive fashion rather than, there is a kind of issues, and that's the time security may come and stop that activity.
That's true. It triggers me to ask Amit also, because Amit also deals with very sensitive things, and he's a CISO and all of Motilal Oswal Financial Services. Amit, if you can just help me understand this, that how are you ensuring security in a highly collaborative environment? And then I will just come to all the panelists one by one. If I can get started with you, that how to deal with one of the challenges, one of the major challenges, which is security.
Security is a big challenge actually in the collaborative world, and specifically when I was also talking about the Salesforce automation or the employee engagement programs or the various channels from where we can actually leverage the enterprise collaboration till the level we can actually see the business productivity. Now this has actually geared up in a major security challenge, specifically in terms of data, because we are also integrating the enterprise collaboration on various platforms like social media or any other channels which can actually leverage the technology. Now we are looking out for regulatory stuffs like GDPR, or we are also looking out for various regulation which has come recently, which are actually talking really very high on the data, specifically the customer data. Now the customer data can be anything. It can be a video, it can be a audio, it can be a data file, anything. Now specifically when we are considering about this kind of a regulatory terms which are coming, and when there is a regulator which is saying that you have to comply with this requirements, then security becomes very very important. Now when we are talking about like enterprise collaboration kind of a stuff, where this kind of regulations are there, we have to look at what kind of a technology can help us to enable more secure, like Lupa said about various risks which are associated on this particular platform. I would also like to tell one more additional stuff, that we don't have to only look out on the risk part which are there, but we also have to look out at the new technologies which can help us to combat the risk which is arising from the security threats while we are adopting the enterprise collaboration. So when we are talking about new technologies or tools, I can say that probably when we are talking about enterprise sales collaboration or Salesforce automation. Now when your salesperson is actually using a technology to adopt a customer acquisition, over there we require to have some kind of a technology in place which can help us to mitigate the risk which is arising from that particular security threat, maybe kind of a mobile device management or any kind of a technology. So when we are looking out enterprise collaboration, we have to actually go in detail about what all features we are getting in from this particular technology. At the same time, we have to actually evaluate the risk at a greater level, and we have to see that how we can actually this mitigate the risk with the help of various tools and technologies. At the same time, some type of compensating control. At Motilal Oswal Financial Services, as we have adopted, enterprise collaboration, we have actually went in detail about all this risk, and we have actually, ensured that we can have a great level of security features for every level, which can actually compensate this kind of risk.
Let me just bring Lee here. Lee, hello,
Yes, hello.
Lee. Yeah, Lee, if you can just throw some light on the challenges, throw some light on the challenges which we are talking about, like when it comes to enterprise collaboration, we always have this problem of latency, and then security is a big issue. Like as Lopa and Amit, both of them mentioned about the security part of it, that how they are trying to get rid of certain things. Again, like what's your take on the same? Like how are you, ensuring that everything falls in place when it comes to enterprise collaboration? There should not be any leakages. When it comes to enterprise collaboration, it should be a smooth ride without any challenges. So if you can just throw some light on that front.
Sure. Yeah, this is definitely an ongoing challenge. I think with all companies, we did some trainings internally because we were finding we did some market research and studies where they were showing, people showing it's just more of empowering with best practices where people were traveling on airplanes, traveling on trains, and showcasing very private numbers, data, new products launching, coming out, things like that. They were communicating over applications that weren't company approved. And so what we've done is internally to try and broadcast this to reinforce and drive where our IT security teams have made sure that we are not participating and engaging in these types of behavior internally, but to also protect our company and protect our partner and protect our partner accounts that we have. Then from a hardware side of things, the nice thing about Logitech with our devices is the our processes are really buttoned up in terms of following all the certification and compliance that needs to go hand in hand with all the intense security that is needed. And so we've partnered with some of the best partners around the world from a software standpoint. The Microsofts, the Zooms out there, Cisco WebEx system that we're using here, and enabling our team members with the proper training, with the proper communication and understanding of why it's so important, and how to make sure that they not only protect themselves, protect the company, and protect our partners. So I think it becomes an awareness on one side from an internal standpoint, but then from a corporate standpoint, it's collaborating and partnering up with those strategic partners who are also checking all the boxes, so to speak, from a certification and compliance standpoint. So that's where we kind of fit in from a security standpoint.
Lee, I think we lost you. Lee?
Oh,
Yeah.
can you hear me now?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
we
sure at
can
what
hear you.
point
Yeah.
you lost me.
No, no,
I may have been talking downhill there for a minute.
no, no, no. We heard initial part, but I think the last few lines we lost
Oh, I'm
almost.
He's
so sorry to
audible,
hear.
Krishna.
Yeah, Lopa, you're saying something?
Yeah, Lee is
Yeah,
audible.
Lee is audible. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
Yes.
Lee, only I lost you for a few lines.
Oh,
So yeah,
okay.
but I got the gist of it, that what
Sure.
exactly you are saying, and thank you, Lee.
Yeah, we had
So
just
in
talked
the
about just kind of the
interest,
internal responsibility and then of course the corporate responsibility. I think they
that's
go hand
correct.
in hand, but they have to be both identified, just to recap.
Hmm. This is like something very big responsibility internally, and then I believe for external stakeholders that matters a lot. So you have to, take care of everything. So
Indeed.
in the interest of time, I will just quickly ask one more question to the panel. So with latest technologies like artificial intelligence already coming in, so how are you like, what significant role AI can play in enterprise collaboration? Let me just get started with Mr. Jan here. Mr. Jan, if you can just help me understand that how are you looking at artificial intelligence in your company, and like how are you, trying to adopt this latest technology, because it is going to play a big role, and in enterprise collaboration, what kind of role is it playing?
So, since an artificial intelligence is a buzzword these days with all the organization and all sector of any industry, artificial intelligence has really started playing a role in manufacturing organization in different ways, that we are able to do the collaboration with using the IoTs of the world with the in a collaborative way to capture data, to send data to the organization, do an basically an analysis onto these things, and able to give the feedback to the customers or the stakeholders on a proactive manner to safeguard their things, and they can take benefit out of that particular part of it. Now on the collaborative part, I think since this artificial intelligence can play a role on basically looking into the bandwidth availability, how exactly the bandwidth is behaving. Is there any latency or any jitter is coming up? It might do a compression over there or might switch over to the another link to really provide the things in advance. So I think so this particular implementation really can help users to do analysis on the videos which has been captured. Today if you want to do any video thing that okay, today you want to search something into a video, you really have to go in a sequential way throughout the whole video and then really come out of that particular point of things. With artificial intelligence coming into it, you might be able to do a quick search onto the video itself, that where this particular point was used into the conversation during the video. If a particular word can be put onto that things, and artificial intelligence immediately picks up to that particular part of that video only and gives you the benefit that okay, you don't have to search around the 100 videos which are being available with you. So I think so these particular things will come up in the artificial intelligence implementation going forward. As of now, a lot of use cases are not available on collaborative technologies on artificial intelligence, whereas the implementation of artificial intelligence in other part of the operations is in a big way happening into the organizations. So this is what is my view on this particular part.
Yeah, like it's artificial intelligence is the buzzword, that's true, and we could see that it would be at would be disrupting for all the segments. Like you talk about any segment today, it would be disruptive. Uh,
Sure.
so yeah, that's true. Mr. Rao, I will take your quick views on this. If you can just tell me that in an FMCG company, how are you gearing up to deploy AI? And in a very collaborative environment. Mr. Rao, can you hear me? Mr. Rao? Mr. Chawla, are you there? Mr. Chawla? Okay, I think somewhere we have lost them. Anyways, Lee, I will just hand it over to you for your presentation now. And before I will request all the panelists to be there because after Lee's presentation, the floor would be open for questions. And we're like right now, I'm getting plethora of questions for the panelists. So it's better, dear panelists, that be there. And Lee's presentation is here and we can get started with his presentation and after that we can get into that Q&A session. Lee, can you just get
Great.
started with your presentation?
Sure
Yeah.
thing. Thank you, Krishna. It's a great segue into the need for bandwidth and how important this is, as I think we might be having some challenges
Yeah,
with
that's
some of
true.
the participants, but it's great to be here, and it's I really appreciate everyone's time, and this is such a great discussion. I'm very passionate about collaboration and all the tools and the time that we live in right now, where literally all these systems have converged for us to have this great experience and opportunity, and this will only continue to improve as you were hinting and talking a little bit about artificial intelligence. My name is Lee Bergs. I am marketing head for Asia Pacific region for our video collaboration group at Logitech. And I'd like to take just a few minutes just to introduce a little bit about Logitech, how we got into the video conferencing, the video collaboration space, and our direction and what are some of the market trends that we found today. So just a quick recap, Logitech has primarily been known as a mice and keyboard for a company for many years. Initially, we were a mouse company for many years, and over the past few years, we've continued to expand through many business avenues where we have niche products in really successful markets, gaming and music, and what we call our creativity and productivity line as our presentation tools and mice and keyboards, home accessories, and then this video collaboration group, which has been very exciting for us. So you see our numbers here on the left, with over 7,000 employees and over 2.2 billion in sales last year, and we have no debt as an entire company. Our finance team has been absolutely remarkable, and just and all the work that's been done. But the biggest capability and the biggest market driver has definitely been the cloud, the movement to the cloud and cloud adoption. And that's what we'll get into a little bit more today. We are a global company. I'm hopeful that many of you are familiar with our company. You may not be familiar with all of the exact products, but I'm optimistic that there's familiarity and trust with the brand, and we definitely want to maintain that. We have global offices and headquarters in Shanghai for Asia Pacific. We're based out of Lausanne, Switzerland, and also have the American headquarters in Silicon Valley in Northern California. So, and all the other black dots show all of our global locations. So hopefully wherever you are, that's where we are and have coverage as well. Globally, we are number one worldwide in market share and in webcams, number one in market share in conference room cameras, which is unbelievably exciting and new in this space just for us over the last few years. So you see the fast adoption of cloud video conferencing, which we will talk about because this niche, this vertical is very new. We have numerous partners all over the world who globally, regionally, and then within uh, targeted countries that really help drive this growth and this adoption and improve this customer and user experience. I talked about this earlier about the plug and play hardware. It really is as simple as a USB plug and play. I don't know, however many of you remember just a few years ago, there if you had video conferencing in your meeting room, you had to have a dedicated person, almost an IT manager or at least someone managing the video conferencing system to be in the room in case something happened. What a waste of time and and you've spent all this money on a solution and you're filling it with someone who who is there in case the solution fails. So we're now to a point where we've got very trustworthy USB plug and play hardware that's enterprise graded and scalable for large video conferencing growth. Um, we talked a little bit about this earlier, but it's interesting and forgive me for touting our own on this. I think I'm getting some feedback from someone there. If you guys don't mind muting, that would be great. We are actually number one worldwide in total units shipped of video conferencing devices. And so we have outsold Polycom, we've outsold all of our competitors and almost doubled them, as you see here with the bar chart just from this past year. Now, granted, this isn't in terms of revenue. If you go online and look at just some of the list prices, you'll notice our list price is significantly lower than traditional video conferencing systems. But you see where this swift change in market is moving towards, where video conferencing needs to be enabled in more rooms, in more spaces, at a more affordable price. And that's our sweet spot, and that's where we're able to win, and that's where we're able to grow. So we talked about this with these niche areas. Um, you may think, well, then this is maybe an SMB play, right? Not necessarily. Over 50% of global Fortune 500 companies actually buy Logitech video collaboration devices. So that means not only are we're not trying to kick out or redo some of what's already been installed, these investments of traditional video conferencing, we want to enable all of those empty rooms that you go in and meet with two, three, or four people that are majority used on a daily basis, much more than what our studies show than a boardroom. And we want to empower and enable those rooms with USB video conferencing devices, easy to use, plug and play, affordable, and our enterprise large companies have changed and adopted just as fast as well as you would expect in the market. And you see the different verticals that we play in right there along the bottom lines within this slide right here. So it's very exciting because we we do meet this niche that it isn't necessarily just in corporations or just in education or government. Our our peripherals are able to be used in literally all technologies. We found that niche product where, thanks to our cloud providers, thanks to bandwidth and telecom services out there, we're able to have the need for this enablement of all spaces around the world. We have healthcare devices where they'll have a moving cart where they take it from room to room in a hospital, and they're able to put on one of our new Logitech meetup cameras, and then and be able to have the doctor in real time be able to use the video conferencing device and check up on a patient, and literally exponentially increasing the number of patients that the doctor can see just thanks by putting a camera on top of a cart that's HD fully enabled. There's sufficient bandwidth in the hospital, and that doctor is able to literally uh, change and save lives at a much more rapid pace. And so this is one of many use cases that we have, and our website has a large number of case studies of many companies who are actively using and how this has proactively changed their business for good. I talked a little bit about our strategic partners. You see them up top there. It's Microsoft, Zoom, and Google, of course, where Skype for Business, the adoption, it continues to grow, where traditionally Skype for Business has been audio, right? Zoom has come into the market, and they seem to be a video first platform. And so Skype for Business continues to grow, Zoom continues to grow, Hangouts continue to grow with these one-touch join functionalities. They need that hardware to bring that experience to life. And that's where Logitech comes in with the webcam, with the video conferencing device to be able to satisfy that entire solution with a full HD experience. And we continue to improve our hardware thanks to all of the cloud, PC, and AV ecosystems within our partner ecosystem. So if you look at your own office, if you look at your own customers, your partner accounts, and you just take little snapshots of their environments, you see pods, huddle rooms, mid-sized room, large boardrooms, the worker on the go, the mobile worker, the remote worker who works from home. There's so many different use cases, but they all want that and need that common ground of communication, not just over text message, not just over a phone call, but there is that need now for face-to-face collaboration. We're very accustomed to it. And our solution is able to empower and provide the right use case, affordably priced, to match with the exact room size for your company and for your customers' space. So I talked a little bit about this. So the nice thing is you have clients who they have personal devices at the desktop at their home. Then they go to the office, and at their desktop they may have a similar Logitech webcam, a similar Logitech headset, a Logitech mouse. And then when they go into their huddle room or their conference room, then they have one of our Logitech video cameras, and it just becomes a consistent, easy experience. When you're going to meet with that client, going to meet with your boss, you don't want to worry, like I talked about earlier, about the peripherals. You don't want to worry about the environment. You want to be worried about how to deliver the presentation, get that reaction, find out, what 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 your boss wants or what that partner or customer account needs, and be able to satisfy those needs. And so that's where our consistent user experience has really played well and driven towards our growth. So just finishing up here, our goal is to have video in every space that has a screen. If you think about every conference room that's out there, a majority of them have a small table and a small chairs. Believe it or not, our devices cost less than what it takes for putting in a table and a chairs in a room. And typically there's a screen, so definitely we're typically more affordable than a screen that's put in there as well. So our objective is to become that final piece to the puzzle where this all is standard in a room. You turn on the lights, you've got the chairs, you've got the table, you got the screen, and now you just need the speakerphone and the camera, and you have a fully enabled video conferencing room for as small or large of a scale of room as you want. We just announced last week a brand new product called Logitech Rally. It's our highest end, high quality video camera that's out in the market right now, scaling up to 4K. That will be enabled with artificial intelligence, where it's this right sense technology. One of the key technologies within the camera is an auto cropping feature based off of the people within the room. So instead of having to remote control and fix and mess with the screen multiple times, we have the technology built in, and we'll have this capability into the camera so that it auto crops once and gives that ideal visual for yourself, and more importantly, the ones that you're communicating and speaking with. just 30 or 40 years ago, if you think Bill Gates was out there saying, I want a computer on every desk around the world, and people laughed and thought, this big, huge machine, how is this ever going to be possible? Well, we see where we're at now, where literally we all have two to three, maybe more devices. We have a mobile device that's a compute, that we have maybe a PC or a laptop. We anticipate fully enabling video conferencing in as many spaces around the world. And one thing I love talking about is making the video experience better than being there. I do love sports. I'm very passionate about going to games, but if you think about it, there's the coverage nowadays on television through thanks to video. Uh, you get that right angle, you get the right look, you get the right audio. You always get that ideal experience because there's a director back there managing this entire experience. We anticipate something along these lines to be happening to make that video meeting more interactive and more engaging, right? I know meetings may not be the most exciting topic to talk about, but what if we turn that idea on its head and created this more interactive experience to engage in more participation, engage in more collaboration, and improve not only the efficiency but the effectiveness of meetings in the workplace, and to drive growth on a faster scale. And we believe we're getting there quicker thanks to our hardware, and more importantly, like I've talked about, thanks to our partners. So finally here, we are leading this fast growing, exploding market. We've become a market leader very quickly, just literally in the last 3 to 4 years within this space. We are priced for mass deployment. Working here, I used to work on our global team, and now I'm focused and dedicated here in the Asia Pacific market. It's amazing how fast we can deploy our global business at Logitech to meet the needs of our enterprise customers all around the world. And this is because of our technologies. Our resellers have done such an amazing job, but we are priced at that unique position to have scalability in our favor, and that's a really strong suit of ours. Having that openness, that open platform, has been another key growth driver for us. To not be one to one and locked down to a specific um, traditional video conferencing platform has made it very easy. If you think about yourself, your customer, I had a Skype for Business meeting earlier this morning, and then I had a Zoom meeting this afternoon, and then now I'm finishing up the day with a webinar on Cisco WebEx. So my Logitech Brio camera has been able to work for all three of these meetings without any problem. It's literally USB plug and play and no problem. And so it's this open platform that our customers are demanding, and we need to be there and meet these demands. So thank you so much for your time. I look forward to taking some questions, but more importantly, hearing more from our panelists, and look forward to more engaging, more discussions on video collaboration in enterprise spaces. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Lee. It seems that you have a very long day today, but thanks to video conferencing, that is, cutting down your traveling and everything, right?
Very much so.
Well, yeah, that's true. So let me just go back to my panelist here. Lopa, Lopa, can you hear me out?
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, Lopa, you have gone through like whatever Lee has presented, and you have seen that how enterprise collaboration is gaining momentum in different verticals. So you are from a financial sector. So what's your take on this? Like whether video collaboration is helping a lot when it comes to financial sector? Like keeping in mind the vertical you're catering to, how do you see the entire enterprise collaboration market? And I must tell you one interesting figure here. Enterprise collaboration market is likely to touch USD 49.51 billion by 2021, growing at a CAGR of about 13%. So I would like to know from you, Lopa, that when it comes to the financial sector, how are you exactly looking forward to enterprise collaboration?
So when it is coming to the financial sector is always a early adopter of any technology. And when it is coming to the collaborative platform, it is very important for financial sector to adopt this, because most of the financial companies are working globally across the globe or within some particular country, and they can save lots of time, as well as they can utilize this platform very effectively for business, and there is a huge adoption going on and it's increasing continuously. And finance is a very touchy section when you are interacting with your end user or mm, your partner stakeholder. So collaborative platform actually help us to bring the personal touch on that particular platform. It's something, when you are interacting over the call, it is something little different. When you put a face to that particular voice, the interaction level will actually make the kind of difference. So that is very important. Only thing is that while we are adopting a technology, we should understand the technology by deep diving inside the technology, along with the operational requirement, all business requirement, security and compliance requirement needs to be taken care to keep this platform safe and compliant. Here I would like to highlight one thing. Not only we don't require only to comply with the law, that's why we need to make it secure. The platform needs to be made secure for the purpose of business, so we can use this platform as business enabling platform and business driving platform, and we can enjoy the benefit of this platform. So there is a huge adaptation of collaboration tools, and this is going to increase and increase. Only thing, we need to understand the relevant risks, we need to educate the people, and we need to keep monitoring that what are the new things add on and how it is going to impact the risk portfolio of the organization, and how effectively manage it to utilize the technology for the business purpose.
Well said. So, in the interest of though very interesting conversation, and then Lee, your presentation is triggering us to ask you more questions. But in the interest of time, let me just open this floor to for Q&A session. So, I would just request the participants, the panelists, first of all, if you have any questions, then please go ahead with that, or maybe any final word, please go ahead with that. And for my audience, I request you that if you have any questions, please you can send across via chat, or you can raise your hand. We will unmute you. So, any questions from the panelist side, or any final word, Mr. Amit Godega, or if we have Mr. Chavla there, or Mr. Rao, Mr. Jan?
I think so. We have already spoken a lot on these things. Let the attendees really come out with their questions, and then we should be able to answer that if possible.
So, we have got few questions here. Navid, can you get the questions here?
Krishna, you are not audible.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
So I have got this question from Mr. Shashank Jain. First of all, he's greetings for all the panelists here, and he's saying good afternoon to all of you. So
Good
he is
afternoon.
basically yeah. So he is basically asking that how artificial intelligence is helping customers in minimizing losses and shop floor.
Uh,
How
so
artificial intelligence.
let,
So
let
Mr.
me
Jan, yeah,
let me take this thing. If I
yeah,
really
yeah.
talk about this artificial intelligence implementation into an shop floor, previously what we were doing is that we were doing analysis of my quality results at a later stage of time, right? When the data was collected, and after that we used to do analysis. Okay, what is the quality deterioration has happened, and how exactly we can take care of that particular thing. Now with the artificial intelligence coming into picture, these particular all the parts which have been produced are on a real time being monitored by the devices, and if any small changes starts happening into the particular product, it gives you alert immediately and says that okay, now hey, now the product is getting deteriorated. You immediately should stop the line and to look into the things what exactly is going wrong. even if it is giving you a predictive analysis on your machines going to fail, or your tools and dies which has been overused for a particular moment of time, which can really give a hindrance in quality products, is being given by this artificial intelligence implementation. We are able to really take benefit out of the power usages. If the machines are idle, it artificial intelligence automatically shuts down those things. Like today, suppose it is your lunchtime and people generally keep their machines and lights and everything open, and these machines take a lot of power from these things. So during this process, it monitors the things for a particular time for say 10 days, 15 days, and it takes that thing. Okay, at this particular moment of time, every day the things is being idle. So these artificial intelligence can put those machines into a switch off mode sort of thing, or can reduce the features of that machine so that it should not really consume that much power. So all those things are really getting into the manufacturing to take the benefit out of it, and is able to give you alerts in a time so that the products is not being deteriorated and the quality products are produced through the system.
That's true. So I hope Shashank has got his answer, and that was quite elaborative. That how artificial intelligence is helping in minimizing losses in shop floor. I have got another question from Pranav Kumar, and this is for Lee. Lee, are you there?
Yep. Hello.
Lee, I have got one question from Pranav Kumar, and he's basically asking you that that how do these new cameras, which Logitech is launching, is different from which are already available in the market, especially in relevance with enterprise collaboration. And how do these cameras leverage AI? And also, if you can touch upon the role or use cases in smart cities telemedicine. So, if it is like elaboratively, we can take it later on also. But you can, give your answers. I think in a very crisp manner that how the Logitech cameras are the different from the ones you are launching these days,
Great
which are
question.
already
Yeah.
available. Yeah,
No, of course. Happy to. I think right away, great question, and thank you for your interest in Logitech video conferencing. Our cameras right away is the USB plug and play peripheral right away. That's what stands out in most. Where the idea is you just need to have any type of PC in the room. It can be an Intel NUC type, HP Slice, whatever have. It can be a laptop, room dedicated PC, and literally USB plug and play, and whatever software client you're running, our our video camera will then fully enable more than likely at least a 1080p HD full video conferencing quality experience. And so a lot of our competition out there has a dedicated platform where they have to use one integrated software, or there's no openness to the platform, whereas our system, we don't we encourage the open platform. We encourage the open softwares in a variety of partnerships out there. And then the second part was asking about the artificial intelligence, where in our newer cameras, that's where we're adding in this artificial intelligence, and where we have it be the right sense technology, where it's right light, it's right sound, and then it's the right look and feel, literally of like I talked about, from an auto cropping feature, where it's using technology to be able to see who's in the room, and if three people in the room, it auto fits to that. If one person gets up and walks away, the camera auto adjusts. Our competitors typically don't have products that are able to do this at a seemingly easy way, without distracting from the meeting, while it continues to optimize that experience. From then, our next step is to engage with our many government contracts that we have. As smart cities continue to be enabled, this will only scale very quickly. So with this technology being new from our standpoint, similar to the rapid success we've seen, we anticipate this will scale and increase and grow very quickly as well.
that's great. So I think Pranav, you have got your answer quite elaborative, and we can get in touch with the audience maybe after this webinar also. So you can just send across your queries to us, and we will take care of that. And once again, I will just come back to panelists for your final word on enterprise collaboration. Uh, can I get started with Mr. Rao? Your final word on enterprise collaboration? Mr. Rao? I think we have lost Mr. Rao as well as Mr. Chawla somewhere. Mr. Chawla, are you there? Mr. VK Chawla? Mr. Chawla, are you there? No. So I think, Mr. Jan, you can get started with your final word on enterprise collaboration.
So, what I like to tell my peers who are sitting in this thing that is collaborative things are nearly getting now in a stage where it is very cheap and can be used sitting anywhere. We use our collaboration things today on mobile itself. We have the clients of the software which we are using of fixed video conferencing. So you can start using these facilities as much as possible. This gives you really a time that you don't have to. It is a boundaryless thing today that you are sitting at home or you're traveling in a bus or car or train. You can really get in touch with your peers and can attend any meeting. You don't have to be there physically available every time. So, as Lee was saying that he has utilized this time throughout the day for being on video conferencing. So, I think so. People should start using it, and a lot of options are available. Cheap options are available for video conferencing and collaboration tools. So let's get onto it and use it as much as possible. And later on, as Lee was telling, that this artificial intelligence is going to give benefit to them through using the things in a more beneficial way, that it will be auto sensing, it will be more focusing you on the moment you're talking and another part. So I think so it's a time where we will be able to use these facilities as much as possible for the business benefits. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jan. Mr. Amit Godekar, can I just have your final word on enterprise collaboration? Amit? Lupo, you can give your final view. Lupa?
Hi, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible
Okay.
now.
Uh, in my view, the collaboration tool is very important to effectively conduct the business in the boundaryless world. But obviously, we need to take care of uh, the associated area to ensure that this is going to act as a enabler and not going to impact the business in a reverse fashion.
That's true. Lupa? Lupa,
Yeah,
can you hear us? Yeah.
yeah.
Your voice is a bit cracky here.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, I think so, we are able to hear.
Yep.
Okay.
Can yeah, you can go ahead, Lopa.
Yeah, so as I mentioned that collaboration tool is very important to exist in this boundaryless business world and expand the business, but we need to use it effectively by addressing all the flip idea of that every technology is having the inherent risks. Deep dive, understand that, manage it effectively, and utilize the benefit and the leverage on the platform.
That's great. Thank you, Lopa. Thanks a ton. And Lee, if you can just give your final views.
Sure. Yeah, this has been really an exciting discussion, getting so many different perspectives, and I think it reinforces how we talked about earlier, how privileged we are to meet at this convergent spot right now with all the software, the hardware, the bandwidth, the technologies, where now we're in a position where, as Mr. Jane talked about, now it's starting to get even more affordable and more accessible. And so we have this great opportunity to empower as many of our customers as possible with such a very seamless integration video collaboration at home, and mobile devices through our smart devices, and then of course in the office, both at the desktop and in the video conference room. And there's so many different types of video conferencing spaces that we can definitely enable, which continue to expand the opportunity. So yeah, I think as technology continues to expand, we'll all be right there leading the way and continue to learn and grow as we all learn here. So thank you very much for your time.
Technology, we will also grow. That's the that's a message we will take back home today. Thank you so much everybody for joining this webinar on enterprise collaboration in digital era powered by Logitech. And my request to all of you would be to respond to the feedback in as detailed manner as possible. This is for the audience. And I would just announce the winners of last webinar once again. So Mr. Santosh Mohile, Head IT, IndusInd Bank, Mr. Venkatesh Khagde, Head IT, BMC Bank, and Mr. Rohit Kashru, CISO, India Bulls Group. Congratulations to all the winners. Soon our partner Logitech will get in touch with you to hand over the gifts. Thank you so much, Mr. Jan. Thank you so much, Lopa. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Lee. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chavla. Thank you, Mr. Rao. And thank you, everybody, for joining this webinar on ETH platform. See you. Good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Lee.